Hey guys, what's up? I'm Greg. I hope you guys are ready to unpack and get into some good conversations today.
And I'm Jess, and this is our podcast, Baggage Claim. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome to Baggage Claim, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to listen to us. Man, it's been a fun ride. Baggage Claim is about a place where we can create conversations and community and blended family and in marriages. Just a place where we can be real with each other and where we can just say the things we need to say, walk through the things we need to walk through. But wherever you're at today, whatever you're doing, man, just take a minute, take a deep breath, just with me and just let it out. And today is just going to be a fun episode that hopefully we can all connect with. But whatever you're doing, maybe just grab your favorite drink, wherever you're at, and just kind of metaphorically pull up to the table with us and just please enjoy.
So there's two things I'm excited about.
Okay.
Number one.
Yep.
We are worldwide.
That's kind of crazy.
There has been somebody in Australia that has been listening to us, and there is somebody in the Netherlands that have listened to us. So not only are we nationwide, but we can technically say we're worldwide. Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. There are 98 different cities in the United States that we're
almost at
anywhere from
cities.
Yeah, from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Yeah.
Almost 1,000 downloads. So again, thank you guys so much. I sometimes I feel like we sound like idiots just kind of fumbling through this.
But we sincerely appreciate that you feel like what we are saying has value and that you want to spend a little bit of time with us out of your schedule.
Yes, thank you for doing that. I really, really, really appreciate it. I ran into a listener just the other day and was like, love your podcast. It's so awesome. And I couldn't say thank you enough.
No.
Just to say thank you for listening to us. But with that being said, we're going to talk about
two things.
Okay, two, sorry.
Number two is where we are in the county that I teach in. There's 3 days of school left.
That is correct.
I cannot express to you how excited I am. Some years are harder than others. They are. And there are some years where I'm just weepy for the weeks approaching the end of the school year, and I just boo-hoo at the end of the school year, putting them, especially the last day of school, is very emotional. This year, I'm like, bye, y'all.
Well, it's not your kids, though. Your kids I love your kids. Like, I went and done reading in the classroom.
You have. You read
I was there for
littles.
the end of the year party to ice cream sandwich Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
I love hanging out with your kids. I take them donuts every now and then to get them sugared up before I leave.
I sincerely appreciate that. But it was a reward they work for, and they appreciate your investment with us. Some years, teachers who are listening, you will understand some years are more challenging than others. And I appreciate these little people, but it's just been a challenging year, and we've made a lot of growth, and I'm excited to see what they do in second grade.
So, Jess, just give Jess some leeway. She's about to get to summer, Jess, which means she may be a different girl during
just
summer podcast.
And just, you know.
A different girl.
Yeah.
Well, to kick us off, you have a quote for us.
I do. I have a quote. There was a wise poet in a movie that we've seen by the name of Owen Wilson. And it is, true love is your soul's recognition of its counterpoint in another.
That's
name
beautiful.
That movie.
Oh my gosh, if you can't name that movie.
Can we be friends with you?
Yeah, that's hard. That's a hard one. They talked about.
Okay, let me say it. Michael, our producer, said, say it again, ? True love is your soul's recognition of its counterpoint in another. And it's the poet Owen Wilson.
Please tell me if you've not seen that.
We're about to break up, Michael.
Bro, are you kidding me?
What is it?
Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers.
Oh, bro, you know how long it's been since I've seen that?
Oh my gosh, it doesn't matter. You should
That's
remember
a you
that.
problem.
That is a you problem.
I'm sorry.
I just dates us, but we
saying.
own the DVD. Yeah.
When's the last time you watched the DVD, though?
Maybe like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe a month ago.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes.
That's a favorite.
I love that.
That's a favorite.
We
for
quote
us.
that movie all the time.
It's been years since I have watched the DVD.
Now
That's
that's a
funny.
good quote, but what we quote often is, "You lock it up.
You lock it up.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me."
Yes, we say that all the time. We do say that. It's another Wedding Crashers.
So apparently, Michael, we need to have a movie night.
We should have a movie.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
all for it.
Yes.
Yeah,
We gotta catch
especially
Michael up
summer.
on-
Jess is engaged.
Yes.
Movie night.
So tonight, we want to be real. I really just want to be, and
do.
not that we've been fake.
No.
It really, it's not that at all. It's almost, if you're listening to the podcast and you've heard us talk about our family core values and the things we've done and our
All the
behavior
things.
list and
Yeah.
all these things, you may be like, dang, bro, they got their crap
They're
together.
like, whoa, but no.
It's the highlight reel of our blended family.
Because-
Just so you know.
If you rewind it all the way back, it was like, oh my gosh, we fell in love.
Yeah, we had this great, like, that. We laugh at that quote, but like on our wedding day, we're just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so amazing. We're going to go on our honeymoon. We're going to come back. All the
But
kids.
hey, you want to go get some pizza?
Yeah, it's just like everything's going to be awesome. It's going to be, and it was to say it's a train
You're
wreck.
about to say train wreck. It was not a train wreck.
It was close. It was really, really close.
We had so many good plans.
We did have great plans, and we had
had
great ideas.
Real good plans.
We had unrealistic expectations.
We didn't know they were unrealistic.
Yeah, we did.
I mean,
we
maybe
did.
a
We
little
did not.
bit.
That's true. We did not. We were like, oh, we got this figured out. We know what we're
thought
doing.
we knew.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
We
really,
had tried to do everything we could right that we thought was right.
which is why tonight we're talking about. We really had no idea what we were doing.
No, not. You said that in the past tense. We still
No.
have no idea what we're
No.
doing. Like literally, like as we're doing this podcast,
Right.
I learned something new every single week about podcasting.
Yeah.
Whether it's reels, shorts, which we suck at and we
Not
really need to
even
work at.
that. We learn something every week about the children that we put together in this family.
I'm just saying, like, we're constantly learning. Like,
Yeah.
we're at a point now where we have adult kids. We have no idea what we're doing. I had coffee with a good friend of mine. We've been meeting and talking for years and years
Yeah,
and years.
years.
He's blended family too. And I just told him, I patted him on the shoulder and was like, hey, bro, it doesn't get easier. And he's just like, thank you for the encouragement,
And bless
Greg.
his heart, he'll call you or text you and set up a time to meet. Here's the problem, and this is what's going on, and here's where we're at, blah, 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 blah. What do I do? And you're like, I don't know.
Sounds like you're doing great to me. Like, hang in there, big guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'll cheer for you. So it's we say that to say if you're out there and you're listening to this, and maybe you feel defeated, maybe you feel beat down, maybe you're at a point with this, and you're just like, this is freaking hard.
Yeah.
Like, this is just really, really hard, and we are not doing a great job. Hang in there.
Hey, rest assured, we still feel that way.
Oh, 1,000%. 13 years in, or
Yeah.
12 and a half, we're still like,
Yeah.
man, this is hard.
Yeah.
Like, this is not easy.
I mean, just to throw back to all the previous episodes, that's why all the other stuff is so important.
Right.
So that when you hit these things that are like, I don't know what to do. I
yeah.
don't know.
That's when we talk about know who you are.
Yeah.
Know how you process, know yourself, know your spouse.
Yeah.
Like, love on each other, because now that our kids are gone, it's Jess and I.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's the two of us sitting outside trying to talk through and work through emotionally, mentally, just physically, just so many things.
All the
Like,
things.
yeah, how do we navigate this so we honor our kids, but at the same time, we don't go crazy?
You said sitting outside. We do sit inside too, but our favorite place to be is outside.
We do have a house.
We
Yeah.
do have a home.
We love being outside.
But we have several places outside of our home that we love to sit, and
have
that's just kind of our
We have
thing.
a porch swing in our carport, which is not a garage because carport's an old home.
Our house is an old. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we have a swing. We sit out there.
We have our
and
cafe area that I like to refer to the patio as.
Yes, it's behind our house.
We have a vintage home.
Yes, it's a very old home. Yeah, but regardless, it's so I just want you to, like, if you're listening to this, if you're in a blended family, if you're trying to figure it out, and you're like,
in a
bro,
normal family, like a core. I'm sorry, I said normal. In a core family, like
I don't think anything's normal.
Not anymore, but there are phases where things are going to ebb and flow.
It's called seasons.
Yeah, yeah. And every time there's a change or a shift, or your kids are entering like teenage years or adulting or college or all the things, everything changes.
Yes.
Like no matter what foundation you've built and what you've tried so hard to do, everything changes.
Yeah. The life has seasons. There are seasons with your kids. There's seasons where you're going to connect and everything's beautiful. It's awesome.
You're all togetger.
And then it's just like, this is, oh my gosh, we're such great parents.
We're doing such a good job.
Yeah, we're so good. And then winter comes. And you're just like,
winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
For Game of Thrones
and
fans.
you're just like, oh my gosh, we are failures. We have no idea
what did we do wrong?
Yeah. I try to blame it on Jess most of the time. I'm like, this is your fault.
No.
But it really is just, so tonight we just want to share some of our stories of where we've
basically
just.
some of our screw ups.
Yeah. Well, we're still. Just so you know, we're in this with you. We're in the thick of it. We're in this just because we may be a few years ahead of you or a few years behind you. Bro, we're just trying to figure it out. So
every single day.
Yeah. So
and the thing of it is, though, even though we raised all four of our kids together,
same way,
off and on with two of them. If you've listened to past episodes, you'll know what we're talking about. When they're with us as the parents, we raised them the same way, and we've tried equally all four of the kids in the same manner, in the same relationally, just doing life together and just on a daily basis.
We've tried.
We tried real hard. And so now we're on the other side, where with all four of them, it is very different for relationships with all four kids.
Oh, 1,000%. I literally texted
Our younger son,
Cody, today and just said, I love you. Are you alive? Are you okay?
Are you okay?
I said, are you okay? And he answered me 6 hours later, yeah, what's up? And I was like, just making sure you're still
Meanwhile, I
kicking.
texted him day before yesterday, and I hadn't heard back. But then we've got our older son. They're here almost every single day. He and his wife and our grandbaby Lulu.
Half a mile away. Yeah.
My God. No, it's 1 mile.
No, it's not
Miranda
a mile.
measured it. She said it was 1. Regardless. And I know that they have our granddaughter, which we want to be with 24 hours a day. But anyway, that relationship could be unhealthy as well.
Yeah.
But not as well.
None of them are
That
unhealthy.
was ugly. None of them are unhealthy. That was not the word I wanted to say. But
they're just different. They're different kids with different personalities, different drives. They all four want something different out of life.
Yeah.
Like Callie is an adventurer. She loves adventure. She loves, and I love that about her.
Super independent.
Which is totally me.
Yeah.
So as much as I would love for her to live in the house in front of me and have coffee with her every morning because she's so fun, I can't deny that I love her adventure side.
And her husband.
Yeah, for her and Charles, when they said, hey, we're moving to Florida in 2 weeks. I was like, well, what are you going to do? I don't know. What are you going to do? I don't know. And I was like,
but you're so far away.
Actually kind of excited about for you. I was like, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, for you could identify with that.
Yes.
But I'm like, but that's so far.
Yeah. But so you have them, they're just all four so different.
You have Thomas that lives around the block with his wife and baby that are constant physical presence in our life. And then Cody, who is literally 35 minutes down the road, which is not far, but he is living his best life.
He's very
in
independent
his college town, very independent.
Yes.
Will figure everything out, doesn't need a parent support. I got this.
Yes.
And then the baby that's living in our house still, that's like, I still have 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out the door, and I'm trying to figure out who I am as a person.
We say all that to say,
Yes.
we have no idea where parenting, where friendship, where we're figuring all that out.
We have no
right
idea
now.
what we're doing.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. We're like, I hope we get it right. We're just we're gonna do what we know best, and we're gonna love them the way that we think we should love them. We're gonna care for them the way we should care for them, and support them the way we should. Are we gonna get it right?
Absolutely not.
We're gonna screw that up, and we're going to overstep our bounds. We're going to feel too pretentious. We're going to say things we shouldn't say. We're going to do things we shouldn't do.
I mean, there's been a time or two where there's been tension with one kid or another, and I've reminded them, hey, this is our first time having adult kids. We don't know what we're doing.
Right.
Just like you're the first time you've been an adult, and you don't know what we're doing.
Right.
So let's just acknowledge that.
Yep.
But you remember back when they were little, we briefly touched on this in a previous episode when we thought one another knew what we were doing. And we left a kid at practice.
Oh, yes. That was episode 10. We were talking about scheduling.
Yeah.
See, there's this really interesting thing. Jess made this, which is a great idea, and we talked about
It's
it.
a fantastic
Create
idea.
a Google Calendar that's shared by everyone.
Yeah.
You invite everyone in, and then Jess adds things to the calendar. That's all great
If you look at your invites in your inbox.
Correct. If you look at the calendar.
If you look at the calendar.
Kind of the key point of having the
use
calendar. Yeah. So I agree. That was a struggle for me.
That was 13 years ago. Well, when that was happening, it was probably more like 10 years, 12 years ago.
Yeah. I've really upped my game in the last 6 months of looking at my calendar.
6 months in, yeah. However, there's been a couple like little people in our life. Their birthday party I put on your calendar. You were like, "Oh, wait, what? We're going to Tatum's birthday party Saturday?"
I will tell you this. Can I just share one of the best times of my life?
Maybe.
Like this was probably
before we got married.
No. I look back at this time and I was like, everything was right in the world.
Okay, when
I was
that?
at 12 Stone, and I had the absolute best
OMG
administrative assistant, Madison Flowers. I absolutely love her to death. She was
like wife junior, but not on a weird level.
No.
She was like the manager of his life calendar.
So
she would tell him.
She had access to all my emails, all my calendars. She had as
access
much
to my calendar. Like
as much stuff as I wanted. I gave her access to everything. I was like, "Here's my life."
And she
Please
and I
help
would
me.
text like,
Yes.
"Can you put on Greg's calendar that Cody has a soccer game at LSA at 1:00 on Saturday?" Yes, got it.
And so I loved life when I had Madison in my life.
I love life when you had Madison.
I came out of
It was amazing.
Madison's
when you had your shirt on.
Madison's in Nashville right now, working at an awesome
Love
church.
you, Madison Flower. Oh,
yeah, she is amazing.
love you, Madison.
Yeah.
I almost said your last name.
Sorry. I don't. Anyway, regardless, I was in this executive meeting. It was an early meeting, like 8:30ish. It was the first right off the first thing.
Was it the donut situation?
No.
It was a donut.
So
That was a donut eating contest one morning.
Yeah, that was a different
story.
So I go in this meeting, and these are like the bigger ups. So like I was like, I got to make sure I got my stuff together for this meeting.
Right.
So I had all my ducks in a row. I go in the meeting, and I come out of the meeting, and Madison is outside the door, and she goes, "Hey, Greg, good morning.
You did a great job.
Like, here's all the things you. Here's your next meeting coming up. Here's this meeting." And we're walking back to the office, and she looks at me, so sweet and so kind. Yeah. She goes,
Also,
"Just so you know, your shirt's on inside out." And I was like, "Thank you very much."
and then she texted me immediately when he went to his next meeting. She's like, "Jess, come on." I was like, "I was at work already. What?"
So yeah, that's my life right there in a nutshell, like 100%.
Which is why the shared calendar part is important.
Yeah, it's
But we
so
almost
so
13.
wives, if you're out there, maybe your husband's different than me.
maybe,
But if you're out there, just have a little grace, have some patience.
or vice versa. If
Yes.
the husband is super organized,
Yeah,
and
every
the
which
wife
way
is
you're
a
going.
hurricane.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not that I never looked at my calendar and I was
It's
thinking,
not the
I don't care
intent.
what
You
that
don't
woman has to
want-
say.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care what's going on. That was not it at all. I had 5 million
No.
things going on in my life, and I would forget to look at that calendar sometimes and be like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to get that kid.
And I do too. I'm supposed to get that kid. That was different.
So,
It's like, oh wait, where's Thomas?
yeah,
Bless his little patient sweetheart.
he's a great kid.
But what
He's a
about
great adult now.
He is a great adult now. But what about the weekend that we planned to go away? Because it was like a winter break situation for me.
It was, and we had
planned to
some
go
very,
away.
very sweet friends of ours.
Yes, Scott and Jen, thank you so much.
Yeah. Scott and Jim were like, hey, we're trying to get away for a couple days. Budget's tight. We're looking for a place where we just want to plan
Yeah.
baggage
And they have
claim,
a
like
place to-
work on the initial start.
They have a place relatively close.
Yeah. And so we're like, he's like, go stay there for a couple days. And we're like, awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
And so we started putting stuff together. That day we were getting ready to go.
It was weird.
I don't know what happened, but it just blew up. Like it was I don't want to talk to you. Why are we doing this?
I don't want to go out of town with you.
Yeah, I don't even want to be in the car
And
with
we
you.
don't normally fuss like that.
And I don't know if you asked me now what that argument was about, I couldn't tell you.
I have no idea.
But I also went and I was like, I just need to go outside. So I went outside and I'm pacing around the front yard and I was like, we're freaking going on this trip. Like we're going
And
on
I
this
was
trip.
inside angrily, like shoving things in my overnight bag. I'm like, I don't want to go. And I don't know why I don't want to go, because when you came back in, you were like, what?
Yeah. And I was like, we're going on this trip.
Yeah.
And you're like, are you sure? And I was like, we are going
Yeah.
on this trip. We're going to figure it out on the ride up, and we're going to figure it out when we're there. Now, we didn't say anything the entire ride up.
Zero
We just
words.
listened to music. We got there and we're like, we
Where
sat
do you-
on the couch and watched a documentary.
We did.
And then we're just like,
Where do you want to go eat?
okay,
I don't know.
can we talk?
walk to this place? We didn't even talk then yet.
Yeah, we did. We started the conversation there. And so it just, and we got okay. And then the next couple of days were very productive and helping us kick off what baggage. So baggage claim started, it was a train wreck. Just so you know,
Yeah.
like it's not, because you listen to some of these and you be like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Or you maybe listen to it going, these guys are a joke. Wherever you're at.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah,
either
still,
way.
thank you for still listening. Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's just so you know, like we're real people trying to figure
And
this
we still,
out.
almost 13 years later, we have no idea what we're doing.
Right.
But we do know the pieces and parts that have worked well. And I feel like our kids would say in support of that, no, these are the things that you did that worked well.
Yeah.
So that we all were on the same page, and there was never a question of what our goal is of we're going to be a healthy family,
right.
no matter whose house you live in on what days or how we got here. Like our goal is to be a healthy family unit together.
Yeah, that was the goal. Always. That's always, we always try to keep that at the center going.
Yeah.
No matter what, that's what we're going to go back to. That's our true north.
Yeah, because
Like we're always going to go back to that.
we had no idea how to be step parents for each other kids.
Yeah,
or,
when to step in, when to step out, when to
Right.
say something, when not to say something. Like, yeah, when to get upset over I sent clothes and those clothes never came home.
Yeah.
Should I be mad? Should I not be mad? How do we help support the kids? Because the kids are going back and forth with their stuff.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we were, and we will talk about all of those things too as we move forward. But at the same time, it's not been an easy road for us. Like, just so you know, like it's not been beautiful, paved.
No.
There was a time where, even for us, I was in real estate. I've been in real estate for 7 years. So some of my time when I stepped out of 12 Stone and went into real estate, money was really, really tight for us. I mean, it was bad. like to a
There's
point.
been bad points.
Yeah, there's been bad. So when you hear the New York story and the California trips and all those,
It sounds glamorous.
yeah, just so you know, there was a time where we went and bought groceries, and I wrote a check to buy groceries for our kids, and I'm not proud of this at all. This is
but it's
I'm just going to date myself when I said the fact that I wrote a check
We
for
wrote a check at
groceries.
the grocery store.
Yeah, you can tell that wasn't
We're
yesterday.
not proud of it, but it's funny in the fact of, like, we knew we had to feed our kids.
Right. We didn't have lavish cars. We didn't have all those things. It was just we were just trying to figure it out. And I wrote a check knowing there was no way that check was going to clear the bank. But I was going to buy groceries for the kids. And so that was one of those things. You're talking about one of those moments. And I remember we sat in the car and
We laughed and we cried at the same time.
yeah, we kind of laughed and cried. It was like, what do we do?
Yeah.
There was another time. It was shortly thereafter
But
that.
let me sidebar that. The meals that we would do in those times where it was tight and the times where it was literally impossible, those meals that we would put together during those times are still all 4 of our children. That is their favorite comfort meals. And that just this many years later, I'm going to cry. I mean, it just warms my heart because although it was such a struggle for you and I, and we don't know what we're going to do, but our babies have food in their bellies when they go to bed. But they didn't know that.
No, we never talked about that in front of them.
We knew that we didn't need to put that pressure or worry on them. And I'm sorry, I'm so emotional.
You don't have to be sorry.
But all 4 of them, like I said, those meals are their favorite things now. And even when the out-of-state baby comes home, or the one that's 35 minutes down the road, it feels like out-of-state, comes home, those are the meals that they request that makes them feel like I'm home.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's a point of just, like I said, worry and doubt and fear. But I'm proud of us because we didn't put that on them.
Right.
Those are the things I was like, oh, we had potato soup, on whatever nights
Yeah,
it was.
we could spend $6 on a meal and feed all of our kids.
Yeah. Or we had spaghetti once a week, and they still, all of them, love that. It was
We
just
hope.
like,
Maybe they do.
wow. It's just the fact that, like, although we had no idea what we were doing then, and we just did the best we could, there was still positive seeds that were planted.
Right. Our whole idea was we're just going to keep moving forward no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how rough it is, how bad it is, we're going to keep moving forward. And I think that's the whole idea, is just going to keep moving forward. And we'll talk about budgeting. We'll talk about money in an episode coming up.
Budget is a cuss word.
It is. Jess hates the word budget.
I do.
But even in that time, and I don't even know if I've shared this with you, but then at that same time, there was a time where Jess was really sick. Yeah, I'm dang it. And so as a guy, you want to make sure as a man, you want to take care of your family. You want to love on your family. You want to provide them leadership, provide them the basic necessities they wanted. And you were sick, and we were
As a teacher of littles,
broke. Like, we were flat broke.
I get
like,
all
we
the
had
things.
nothing.
Yeah.
At the time, we were just getting by, and you were sick, and you needed to go to urgent care.
Yeah.
We didn't have the money, and I remember sitting in the closet, and I just sat there and I wept as the lights were off. Yeah. And as a guy, man, that was so humiliating.
Yeah.
And such a humbling moment to go, I can't even provide just simple health care for my wife. Like, I can't provide for her to go to urgent care just to get something to feel better. And it was just, there was a lot that was going on. And so for me, it was I remember just sitting there praying and be like, okay, God, I don't want to live here anymore. I'm not going to be in this spot. And we've made changes over the times with him, but just so you know, there's storms and there's ups and there's downs and there's seasons. And sometimes those seasons suck and sometimes they're not fun.
Sometimes they do.
And sometimes they're amazing. And we share a lot of amazing seasons on here.
We do, but it's because we work so hard at all of the things that actually matter, which is why we're 14. This is the 14th episode in. We've never talked about money.
No, because we don't really care about money.
Yeah, we've never talked about finances or those kinds of things because that's not what matters. Of course, that money makes the world go round, all the things, but
we also realized, just a simple statement though, we realized early on that if money was going to be what made us happy, then we were always going to be up and down. Yeah, this is going to be bad. Like, money was not the one thing that was kind of pushing us to be like, oh my gosh, we got to have a whole ton of money in order to make this work. So
no, because I mean,
yeah, it was tough, and it was like, yeah, we're not going to do that.
The fix all.
Yeah, I read and not to get on this because we may later, but I was reading a book by Chip Gaines it's called Capital Gains.
Gosh, that was so many years ago.
It was a long time
I got
ago.
For like Father's Day or
something. Yeah, great book.
Chip and Joanna Gaines, girls, we know who
everybody knows who they are. Yes,
the whole farmhouse era.
Yes. So he read a book which I really connected with him because he's just a handsy guy, like kind of like me.
Yeah, he wrote a whole book about his experiences.
Yeah, and so he made a statement in that book that, man, just resonated with me. Mm-hmm. And he and Joanna, he was talking about they had rental properties and money was tight and they were doing a whole lot of things. And he said, this is a rough estimate. It's been a long time. So for some odd reason, if you hear this, Chip, and you're like, bro, that's not what I said, I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness.
But he said, if we decided if we can't be happy with $100 in our bank account, we'll never be happy with hundreds of thousands of dollars in our bank account. And I went to Jess and I was like, we have to wrestle that to the ground. Like, we have to figure this out. Like, we can't be happy whether we have a huge number in our bank account or we don't. I'm not saying be irrational, be silly, or dumb with your money. But at the same time, that was not...
Literally, if you cannot be happy with one another, if I can't look at you, Greg, and say, I'm happy being married to you when we have $100 to our name, I'm not going to treasure you and be the same happy with you when there's $1 million in the bank.
Yeah. And so just so you guys know listening, that was a huge hurdle for us.
Yeah.
And when we jumped that hurdle, we're just like, oh my gosh. Now to say that we didn't see that hurdle again would be a lie.
Yeah.
We see it all the time.
Yeah.
And if you've ever been in real estate or been around real estate, you know that
it is feast or famine.
Yes. And here lately it feels like it's more famine than feasting. Yeah. So we're eating a lot of potato soup these days, 15-bean soup.
Buddy.
But at the same time, all that to be said, like...
But I'm still... And I know a lot of the pressure falls on you just because you're the husband and you're the, quote-unquote sole provider. I'm still just as happy with being your wife. Like, I mean, even currently, just being completely transparent. It's like, currently, it's a famine situation. Versus when it's a feast, I'm equally as happy with you as a human being.
Yeah. It's all right. It's all right, Michael. It's all
Michael,
good, bro.
our producer, had a chair situation. And if you hear that, that's okay.
It just goes to show this is where we're at, man. We're in Thomas's old bedroom.
And it goes
trying to figure it out.
We had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah, true. So let's get to...
Unpack.
Let's unpack some of this and get to some...
And also, there will be portions coming up where Michael, our producer...
Yeah, we're getting him a mic. Yes, we are. Because we want Mike to be a part of this. Oh, well, Michael. I don't know. Does anybody call you Mike?
No.
Some people do.
Some people?
Michael.
Mike.
Nobody should call you Mike.
But I will say, if I can say something into
you can say anything you want.
Can I turn my microphone to you? Will that be helpful?
I don't think that'll help.
Okay.
As I get older, hearing y'all's perspective, and you can kind of repeat what I'm saying.
Okay.
there is significant meaning and understanding in my perspective of going through those famines. What you say?
Repeat that because
As a
you're good at
kid.
that.
Okay, so Michael basically is saying as he's getting older, he can understand the perspective and appreciate it more. Is going through those famines,
When he was growing up.
yeah, as he was growing up through.
Because I feel like the more I hear from you guys and the more I reflect on my own life growing up, every parent, regardless of what generation, I mean, you look at back history, thousands of years, what parent knows everything?
Right.
Michael was saying,
know?
if you look back across history, there's what parent knows everything while we're parenting.
Here's what I don't trust: people who think they know everything.
Nobody does.
Like if I'm in a church and I come across a pastor who's like, you need to do this, 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 and this, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do any of that because I don't trust you. Like if
any
you
of
think
it.
if you have your life that okay, sorry, maybe not all of
There's
it, but I'm just
pieces of yes.
like when
but
you
I
think you
understand
have
what you're
your
saying.
entire life, when you think you have it figured out, that's the key
Is when
point,
you
and when you
don't.
have any of it figured out.
But
Yes.
I think one of the biggest things that has changed in my life is being able to be okay and accept where you are.
It's okay to not be okay.
Well, who's that? Jelly Roll sings that?
I am
So-
not okay.
I'm so
He
glad-
does.
I
He
don't
does
know.
sing that song, yeah.
But being okay.
Shout out hashtag Jelly Roll.
Yes, being okay
big fan.
with where you are, but knowing you want and desire to move forward and you proceed to move forward.
Yeah.
Right.
That is what makes a significant change of when you're living in a famine.
Yep.
Okay, well, are we just always going to be in a famine?
Right.
Right.
Or are we acknowledging where we are?
Because if you're
coming
not
together as a family unit and moving forward.
because if you're not trying, you're failing.
If you're not failing, you're not trying. Maybe that's what.
Both
because
it goes both
I would
ways.
say it that way, yes.
yeah, because the
I
idea.
agree.
It's both ways.
Well, the idea is that, and what Michael was saying is, if you're in a famine, you can look at that and look at those times and say, "Man, this is hard. This is tough." One thing I've learned is no one's going to show up on your front door
No.
and solve all your problems. No one's
Absolutely
going to
not.
show up on your front
No.
door with the old school check when they had, and it's like, oh, thanks for that sweepstakes
move that
things.
bus and everything's
It's like,
fixed.
oh yeah,
It's
here's
Ed McMahon.
yeah,
and the
here's your big
publishers,
clearinghouse.
whatever.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
it's like, hey,
Or
here's your check.
You had a magically uncle that passed away, and here's your check for whatever.
Yeah, that's never happened to me. So it's
No.
always been one of those realization moments of going, I don't like where I'm at. I want to be different. So I am going to figure out a plan for how to be different.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work my butt off to be different.
And that's
I'm
one
going to
thing that-
fail along the way, and that's okay.
Yeah, because if you're not failing, you're not trying. What
Yes.
we were saying in the beginning, and another thing of when you're not stuck in your situation where you're trying to improve or this or that, when we're parenting our children, just to kind of bring it back to where we don't know what we're doing, we've never been stuck in our opinion when it comes to working with our kids as the whole group of them and individually.
Because sometimes they're right, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm wrong. I was wrong in
Even
that.
if we don't want to admit that they're right, sometimes they actually are.
Yeah, and you got to kind of accept that and say,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. I missed that. I was wrong
Yeah.
on that, and move forward. And that's hard as a parent because you want to feel like you have it figured out, but it's also too saying, I don't have this figured out.
No,
Like, you're
and-
right. I missed that.
Have we always been quick or easy to say, oh, wait, we're wrong?
God, I've tried, man. That's one of the hardest things.
It is hard.
Man, I've sat at our kitchen table. I can't count on two hands how many times I look at a kid and go, I screwed that up, and I'm
I
sorry.
messed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did that. I was wrong.
And that's hard. I feel like it would be hard it's hard for adults in general.
Yeah.
If you just a human in the world.
Well, because it's letting go of yourself.
Yeah, it's hard for adults to be like, no, wait, I messed that up. That was bad. But then if you're from our point of view, if you're trying really, really hard to do the right thing all the time and to be selfless, it's hard to get to the place where it was like, no, I really could have done better.
Yeah.
Because I thought I knew better.
Yeah, I agree. So, anything else to unpack?
What do you do when you fail?
You get up.
Because that's the part that matters. That's the part that matters.
Yeah, here's the thing too that people don't do a lot of.
Yeah.
And this is that whole self-reflection thing on sitting down and going, okay, I screwed that up.
Yeah.
What could we have done different? What should I have done different? How do we not find ourselves in this place again?
But what you just said is not the norm. The norm is, I'm going to dig my heels in. I'm right. You're wrong. I'm the grown-up. You're the kid. Or whatever the case may be. How do you decide, and this is a question for you,
okay.
How do you decide to just dig your heels in, this is where I'm standing, and this is my opinion, or how do you decide to, okay, wait, maybe pieces of what you are saying are correct or right and what you feel is right. How do you decide to dig your heels in versus make some changes for growth to move forward? How have we done that? How are we trying to do that?
I'm not so much a dig my heels in and say I'm right, you're wrong kind of guy.
No, you're not.
I want to understand what your thoughts are and your perspective is and how you got there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a lot of questions on the fact of how did you get to there? Like, please help me understand how you feel that way, how you think that way. I want to know what it is. Like, if I've done something wrong, tell me, be specific, but tell me what it is that I've done wrong so I can make that change.
A second. I'm going to be like you're my first grader. I'm going to pause you because and probably was like, well, we got married and we knew each other 8 months. Maybe a few weeks in, you would say, help me understand. You're laughing. That was one of the big phrases. Help me understand, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And it annoyed me all get out at first. Because I never had anybody do that to me.
Right.
Which is part of my communication growth, which we touched on in other episodes. But literally help me understand how we don't know what we're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Help me understand how you have arrived to this point or idea or whatever. As annoying as it is, that's helpful.
Right.
Even when
well, it is for me because I don't know what I don't know. So maybe I've done or said something that was offensive or wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Right.
So please help me understand what I've said or done that pushed you to that point. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to say, you're right. I screwed that up. But if in the same sense going, that doesn't make sense to me. Can we unpack that a little more? Can we dig into that? Like I always say, everything has a root. Every single thing has a root.
It does.
You just got to keep pulling and pulling and pulling until you get to the root. And that's not fun.
No, it's awful. And I had to learn that. I mean, I realized after we had gotten together, I was awful at communicating. And I didn't mean to. What?
Michael has something he wants to add.
What
Producer
you're
Michael.
speaking on, specifically the phrase, help me understand.
It's that literally help me.
How would you speak to someone? Just because I think we've all relatively been there.
Are the
in
mics
this concept?
Picking you up?
Probably not. You'll have to rephrase what I'm saying. How do you speak into someone who does live in that mindset of my opinion is what's right, and that's what needs to be moving forward?
Oh, wow.
So how do you
rephrase that for our
How do you
fans?
take that mindset to saying, help me understand?
Our plans moving forward is to give producer Michael his own microphone for this specific
So
moment.
he can push back and ask these questions,
Yes.
which I love.
Yeah,
I
I
love
do
the back and
too.
forth. So Michael asked a question when you're interacting.
Producer Michael.
Yeah, producer Michael. That's it. That's awesome. So when you have someone that you're communicating with or talking with,
Yeah.
and they think their opinion is right, and they think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what you said. How do you use that phrase to help them understand when they feel like they're right and their logic or their thoughts are truth?
And it's
Is that-
both sides. It's both sides. One being, hey, on the side A, saying, hey, my opinion is right. This is what we must do. Side B being,
Right.
hey, maybe it's someone that thinks their opinion is right. How do I communicate?
So Michael's saying
on
like
both sides.
one side thinks they're right, the other side thinks they're right. I feel like even for my own self, who was awful at communication, the phrase "help me understand" that doesn't say to the recipient, "I'm right, you're wrong. Let me tell you why you're wrong." It's I'm open to receiving what you're feeling and your thought process so that I can match it to mine.
No, you had to be curious to know what everyone arrives at an opinion and a thought and their truth and their perspective.
Yeah.
And they arrive from so many different variables. And it's
For crying out loud.
their
We put
environment, their the way they grew up,
Yeah.
the way that they were raised by their grandparents, their interactions with all those people. There's so many.
And then on top of what you said, we put together our marriage experiences.
Right.
All of the layers you just said, yes. And then you put together all of that.
So here's how I would, honestly, here's how I would approach that. I don't know if you remember the episode where I did the point the finger in the sky and spin
Yeah.
and then come down and talk about your perspective.
Yeah.
When you're looking at it.
Redefine that.
Okay, so in one
Michael, the
episode,
producer, said, can you
yeah,
redefine
so
that?
in an episode, I asked people to, wherever you're at, put your finger, point toward the sky, wherever you're at. And you can do that now if you're there.
I'm doing it.
Point your finger toward the sky and start spinning clockwise. If you don't know which way is clockwise, then it's
Right to left.
just hit pause and go to a different podcast. So if you don't,
Babe.
I'm just kidding.
Oh
So if you're
gosh.
clockwise and you want to bring that down, and as
If
you're
you're
bringing
on YouTube, you can see us doing it.
and so you're coming down, you're bringing it down in front of you until it's below you, and you're looking down at it. Which way is that going?
Towards yourself.
Counterclockwise.
It's counterclockwise. So nothing changed
Yeah.
other than the way you're looking at it. So in a sense where someone says, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm like, what if you're looking underneath and I'm looking from above?
Which
And
is
so-
where the famous Greg Peck phrase of "help me understand."
So that would be that would be where I would start and say,
Yeah.
this is right. You're right. And this is right. Like, what if we're both right?
That's true.
And what if we're just looking at it in a different way? So can you tell me why you see that the way that you see that? Why you see this truth the way that you see this truth? Now, there's different, and people, so there's those areas that we have to dig into.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, God, man, it's curiosity. You want be curious about the way people work, the way they think, the way they act. Don't be so judgmental
is
and
natural
quick
for
to the
you.
answer.
That's natural for you. But it was not natural for me.
No, it's not natural for a lot. I learned that though. Like I really, really spent a lot of years trying to hone that craft and
Because
skill.
that's what you were after.
Yeah, because it was something that I was really passionate about, and I
Right.
really was curious because I love I met this guy. I met this, side note, and we won't get into it, but I met a guy in the middle of the woods in Western North Carolina who had on a pair of blue jean shorts, no shirt, was drinking a Budweiser, and had a 9mm in his hand. When we walked up, and he said, I buried Bigfoot's baby.
Yes.
Bigfoot's baby. And I was like,
Yeah.
I want to talk to this guy. Like, because I was so curious.
What's your name?
Yeah, I was like, this dude is so interesting. Yeah, so I was like, I want to know more. So for me, that's just a curiosity for people.
You wanted to investigate that man, but for me, I would have done an about face and gone back. I wouldn't even been on the trail in the first place as just me personally. But that's the thing. It's like when you're listening to us and you're like, what makes you work for who you are? I appreciate that part of you. And it took you a little bit more time, but you've understood that part of me is not as prominent.
Right. Everybody doesn't think and act the way I do.
Because we don't know what we're doing.
Right. Yeah, we don't. And we're still trying to figure this out. Like, we're learning every day.
Yeah.
So again, wherever you're at, can I, before we jump into questions?
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Awesome. I'm so excited, actually.
I'm so excited.
So wherever you're at in your marriage, if it's a blended family, it's not a blended family, whatever it may be, I just want to encourage you. If you're failing, congratulations. You're doing something.
You're
like,
trying,
way to go.
because if you're failing, you're trying.
Yeah, way to go. Keep moving. Here's what I say. Evaluate why you fail. Talk about it. Be honest with yourself, and then move forward.
And be honest with one another.
Yeah. And let your pride down. Let all those things down, and just be honest and move forward. And so that's what life is about, period. Like, whether it's marriage, whether it's work, professionally, fail, figure it out, make corrections,
it's
do
okay
it again.
To fail.
Do
Tell
something
yourself
different.
that while you're failing.
Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah.
We're doing something.
Yeah.
All right, give me a question. We're going to wrap it up with a question.
Okay. If you could make a documentary that millions of people saw across the world, what would it be about? Don't say Bigfoot. With all the love in my heart. If you could make a documentary that millions of people across the world would see, what would it be about? I mean, I immediately have my own answer.
Okay, give me yours.
What do teachers actually deal with? And
That's
why
a documentary?
Yeah, and why do we not get paid enough? It's not about the money.
I think you guys are underpaid. I don't say it just because you're my
But
wife.
people don't understand the millions of points of pressure that teachers deal with on a daily basis.
My documentary, what would it be about?
Oh my God.
It's so different from yours.
Oh my gosh, you're giggling. What would it be about?
So I have this thing. I don't sleep a whole lot, so I'm pretty sure I have insomnia or
I feel like you probably do have
some
sleeping
form
disorder.
of, like, I don't sleep well.
Yeah.
But anyway, I go into these deep dives of, so my whole documentary would be, what if conspiracy theories really aren't conspiracy theories? What if they're truth?
Oh gosh.
I would watch that documentary.
That means you're a conspiracy theorist.
No.
Well,
Why did conspiracy theory become such a negative word? Because all it is a thought process for what if.
But the problem is that
It's a what if statement, not a you're wrong. Like, there's so many things.
babe, we're sitting closer than I'm used
I
to.
know, now you can put
sitting.
your hands on me.
I'm
You can actually grab me now.
I'm touching his arm to make him stop talking. But the problem is that some conspiracy theories are true.
Yes.
Agreed. 1,000. Yeah. I would say a lot.
like
There's a
sitting
lot of.
close to you so I can
I
touch
think
your
there's a
arm.
lot of them that are. Now I think there's some out there that are just like, bro, that's whacked. But I still will listen to it, like, because I'm just curious. I'm just like, you believe that?
So your whole documentary.
Documentary.
I've used all my words and syllables today. Documentary
Mm-hmm.
idea is conspiracy theories.
Bro, if we could dissect
What if? Yeah.
documentaries, I would 100%
Producer Michael,
watch
if
that.
you got involved in that idea,
it
it
would
would
take
be-
my life.
Yeah,
it would
I love that.
literally consume your whole life.
Can I tell you what a deep dive? I spent the other night. I got into the deep dive theory of if the moon landing really happened, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning,
And then
I'm
watched-
still like, I have to go to bed because I'm getting up at 6:15. Like, I literally was like, I'm going to bed.
We watched that movie.
Oh yeah, it was
Fly Me to the Moon.
yeah, it was a really good
It was
movie.
Scarlett Johansson. And,
Yeah, which just
what's his
piques my
name?
curiosity. Now I'm not
I
saying
can
one way or
understand
the
why
other.
people think that's fake.
I'm not. We're not gonna get into that. But anyway,
Okay. That's a different. Okay.
yeah, we're not going there. This is not. Maybe if Sean Ryan calls, I'll go talk to him about it. But
Sean Ryan.
I'm just kidding.
If we keep saying his name over and over again, will he listen to us?
No, he'll call us and tell us to F off.
We're not important in this world, but
Anyway, I love that dude. Anyway, all right. So
we love you guys
Yeah,
that
so
are actually listening.
if you're
to
still
us.
listening to this, man, you're my friend. Thank you.
Thank
I will
you.
buy you a drink if you run into me in public. I will buy you a drink.
Yes.
Okay, I promise.
Yes.
So anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of tonight.
Thank you for listening to the idea that we have no idea what we're doing
and
with the podcast and our life.
yeah, and so let that resonate with you. Like, so when you think your life is falling apart and it's just crap, just be like, hey, it's okay. Just keep moving.
It's okay because you can have fun when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, take a sip
We
of that.
have for 13 years.
Yeah, just enjoy, smile, and laugh. I mean, man, if you're sucking air, and I always say, hey, man, I'm above ground.
Yeah.
It's a good day.
Good day. If it's a day you get to be inside that day, it's a good day.
So, love you guys.
Yes,
Thank you so much for all you people who are listening all over the place. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for listening.
And if you come up with a comment, or even if it's just like we love what you're doing, or this specific thing helped us, we would love to hear back from everybody.
BaggageClaim.podcast. Is that it? On
I
Instagram?
literally don't know.
If you go to, you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok. You
and
can find us
Facebook,
on
too. We're on
Facebook.
Old people Facebook.
Old people Facebook. Loody-doo-doo-doo. So make sure you.
What are you doing?
So make sure you.
We gotta go.
Just DM us.
It's a school night,
All
and
right.
we appreciate you, and thank you so much. And we absolutely love that you're a part of our podcast.
Adios, amigos.
Family, good night.
Good night.